Hello again. Now what we're aiming to do is to make paint that's suitable for undercoating. So while you watch what we're doing on the palette, bear that point in mind. Blending. And now we're getting ready to change the paint that we used for undercoating into paint that we can use for copy tracing and strengthening. Just mixing a little bit more paint in. That dark paint from the puddle around the lump. Covering up the lump, always a good idea. Twisting and twirling. Now this mixes the paint, loads the brush, and also, because it's really just the tip of the tracing brush that's dancing in the paint, it shapes the brush as well. Little test mark. Get a sense for how it's flowing. And we're away. So the paint took a little bit of work on the palette to move it from undercoating paint to tracing paint. But that's all fine, because it's now doing what we want it to do. Use the blender to make it dry. And the reason we're drying it is that the more quickly it dries, the less time there's been for the paint on the palette to change. You always need enough paint that's on the palette ready for you to work with. There needs to be enough of that for the next sequence of strokes that you're going to paint. That's why David added a bit of water, because he's got to cover up those 5 strokes there. And here we go. Twizzle and twirl each time you load the brush. again using the blender to get them dry as quickly as possible. Now we need to change this tracing paint into flooding paint. So we obviously need some nice thick paint then. So do you remember the point we talked about before, that the brush is in fact not really making contact with the glass underneath. It's pushing the liquid around. So the paint flows from the brush, and the brush then spreads it a little bit more thinly. You just play with the liquid surface of the paint. Very important to load your brush, when you load your brush, to twizzle and twirl and mix the paint each time. Testing again. The brush still has a perfect shape that you can control. Every time, mix the paint when you load your brush.